parents, Ovid's Metamorphoses, which were hysterically funny, not, as well as the rich Italian tradition of Commedia dell'arte. Yeah, basically, Shakespeare stole everything he ever wrote. The stole is kind of a strong word, dude. Distilled, maybe. Well, then he distilled the 3 or 4 funniest gimmicks of his time and then milked them into 16 plays.
You see, essentially, Shakespeare was a formula writer. When he saw a device that worked, he used it.
Over and over and over again.
So, Mr. Shakespeare, the question we have is this.
Why did you write 16 comedies when you could have written just one? In answer to this question, we've taken the liberty of condensing all 16 of Shakespeare's comedy into a single play, which we've entitled The Comedy of Two Well-Mannered Gentlemen Lost in the Merry Wives of Venice on a Midsummer's 12th Night in Winter. Or,
Simply taming Pericles, the merchant in the tempest of love as much as you like it for nothing.
or The Love Boat Goes to Verona.
Act 1. The Spanish Duke swears an oath of celibacy and hands over the rule of his kingdom to a sadistic and tyrannical twin brother. He learns fantastical feats of magic
Abracadabra! I'm Harry Potter!
and sets sail for the golden age of Greece, along with his daughters, 3 beautiful and virginal sets of identical twins. While rounding the heel of Italy, the Duke's ship is caught in a terrible tempest.
We're caught in a terrible tempest!
And in its fury, the Duke is cast upon a desert island, along with the most beautiful and virginal of his daughters, who stumbles into a cave, where she's molested by a creature who is either a man or a fish. Or
Don't molest me! Act 2. The long-lost children of the Duke's brother, also coincidentally through sexual have just arrived in Italy. Though still possessed of an inner nobility, they are ragged, destitute, penniless, flea-infested shadows of the men they once were. And in the utmost extremity are forced to borrow money from an old Jew. Leads them into putting down their brains as load on the cloud. Meanwhile, the 6 brothers fall in love with 6 Italian sisters, 3 of whom are contentious, sharp-tongued little shrews, while the other 3 are inquisitive, air-headed little bimbos.
Yeah, alright.
Act 3. The shipwrecked and other daughters of the Duke wash up on the shores of Italy, disguise themselves as men, and become pages to shrews and matchmakers to the Duke's brother's sons. They all stumble into a nearby forest where, on a midsummer's night, a bunch of mischievous fairies squeeze the aquatic juice of hermaphrodite flower into the shrews' eyes, causing them to fall in love with their own pages, who in turn have fallen with the Duke's brother's sons. The queen of the fairies seduces a jackass, and they all have a lovely bisexual animalistic orgy.
Act 4.
Act 4! Act 4.
The elderly fathers, upon finding their daughters missing, dispatch messages to the pages, telling them to kill any man in the vicinity.
However, unable to find men in the forest, the faithful messengers, in a final misguided act of loyalty, deliver the messages to each other and kill themselves. Meanwhile, the fish creature and the Duke walk into a nearby forest disguised as Russian and, for no apparent reason, perform a 2-man underwater version of Uncle Vanya.
Act 5.
Act 5.
The Duke commands the fairies to right their wrongs.
Right or wrong? The pages and the bimbos get into a knockdown, drag out fight in the mud. One of the
Yes.